let's be honest for a second. You probably swept the floors, right? Cleared some clutter, maybe snapped a few photos with your phone, thinking, hey, the house is incredible, it'll sell itself. Well, spoiler alert. In the luxury market, that good enough thinking, it's not just missing an opportunity, it's actually costing you potentially millions.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the deep dive, and think of this as your unfiltered wake-up call for selling high-end real estate. Today, we're cutting through all that noise. We want to show you exactly why just being casual about it is so financially damaging, and what truly strategic, maybe even relentless marketing actually looks like.
It's interesting because most luxury sellers think they're selling a home, a physical structure. But what buyers, especially at that level, are really buying is, well, it's an aspirational future.
A lifestyle.
Exactly. A lifestyle, a brand, and often just a profound feeling. So our mission today is really to dive deep into the sources you've gathered, pull off the tactical knowledge.
Right.
That shows why that good enough mindset is such a costly mistake. And then, crucially, lay out a blueprint for doing it right.
Absolutely. We're going to break down these sometimes complex luxury real estate strategies, plain English, with precision, confidence, so you can avoid those really expensive missteps. Think of this less like a standard podcast and more like a tactical brief.
A briefing, yeah.
A shortcut to understanding how, let's say, Marine Corps discipline meets that high-touch luxury concierge care. That's what works in these high-value sales. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's really unpack this good enough fallacy. When we joke about leaving the beanbag chair and maybe the deer antlers in the living room for listing photos,
right?
It's not just to be funny. It's actually a pretty stark reflection of how a lot of luxury properties are presented.
It really is. Sellers often tidy up, they take some okay photos, and they genuinely think, this place is amazing, someone will just show up and buy it. So what's the real-world impact of thinking like that? For you, the luxury seller, what does it mean in the actual market?
Well, the core truth, and this is fundamental, is that luxury buyers shop with their eyes first, period.
Okay.
Your personal style, your comfy clutter, the things that make it your home, they're actually costing you dramatically. If your listing photos look like they were taken with, I don't know, a disposable camera from the 90s, you're basically dead in the water before a serious buyer even clicks through. And if the overall vibe, the styling, looks like a brochure from, say, 2009, well,
so you're going to get 2009 offers.
You're going to get 2009 offers. It really is that simple.
So, okay, the initial presentation is maybe lackluster. How quickly does that listing go from just sort of sitting there to being truly stale in a luxury buyer's mind? Is there like a point of no return?
That's a really great question. A listing that sits for, let's say, 90-plus days without strong offers or without really strategic price adjustments, it quickly becomes market stale. And often, there's no effective comeback plan from that point.
Right. Perception sets in.
Exactly. Buyers start to perceive flaws, even if there aren't any real ones. They just start wondering, okay, what's wrong with this place? Why hasn't it sold? And the bigger picture here is just critical. You simply cannot attract a $5 million buyer with, like, $500 marketing effort.
No chance.
It's not a launch strategy. It's basically, as you called it, a hopeful surrender. You're essentially signaling to the market that you're not really serious, or maybe you don't understand the level you're playing at. And luxury buyers who are incredibly savvy and discerning, they pick up on that instantly.
Wow.
The cost isn't just time ticking by. It's the premium price you could have commanded if you'd done it right from the start.
Okay, so it's clear good enough is actively draining value. What's the antidote then? What's the absolute minimum required to actually win in this market, to avoid that hopeful surrender?
The antidote is intentional presentation. That's the core of it. And it really starts with a complete philosophical shift. It's not just about listing your house. It's about producing an experience, creating a feeling. And look, this isn't optional, not at this level. It's absolutely essential if you want to command top dollar.
Right.
We're talking professional staging, definitely. High quality, magazine-level photography, cinematic video, drone shots are often crucial, virtual twilight imagery that really adds mood, comprehensive floor plans, buyers expect those. And sometimes, yes, even sophisticated scent marketing. It's a real thing.
Scent marketing?
Yeah, creating an olfactory experience that subtly enhances the property's appeal, makes it memorable. Look, if your last agent just shrugged and said, let's just put it out there and see what happens, that's the exact opposite of this disciplined, intentional approach.
That phrase, producing a mood, that feels way more strategic than just, tidying up or decorating. Can you give a quick example, like a common mood miss that sellers make, even if they think they've cleaned up well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A huge mood miss happens when a seller meticulously cleans, like spotless,
Yeah.
but they leave all their personal art up, family photos everywhere, maybe some quirky furniture choices that are their taste.
Right. Stuff that makes it their home.
Exactly. Which is perfectly fine for living there, but it makes it almost impossible for the buyer to project their own aspirational life onto that space. Remember, you're not just showing rooms. You're producing a mood, a curated vision of a desirable future life.
Got it.
So that means lifestyle staging, intentional touches, things that make it look aspirational, but also neutral enough for a discerning buyer to immediately see it as theirs. And this also extends to controlling the narrative, by the way.
How so?
Well, if your home has a quirk, maybe an unusual layout or a very specific design choice, someone might question. Don't try to hide it or just hope buyers overlook it. That never works. Say it first, acknowledge it, then immediately neutralize it, maybe by explaining the context or highlighting an unexpected benefit.
Get ahead of it.
Exactly. It's about taking proactive control. It empowers you to present the property on your terms, instead of just waiting defensively for buyers to find potential faults.
That's incredibly insightful. So, okay, perfecting the presentation is step one. But the real leverage, it sounds like, comes from this disciplined, almost military-like strategy that positions the property correctly as an asset, not just a house.
Precisely.
It's about a whole robust process, not just getting a few nice pictures taken.
Yeah.
So what does that comprehensive blueprint actually look like?
Yeah, what's crucial here is that this process, it goes way beyond just sticking a sign in the yard and, praying for the right buyer to stumble upon it.
Right. Hope is not a strategy here.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's all about how to strategically position, flawlessly present, and then aggressively push these luxury listings into the hands of qualified, high net worth buyers. We've actually distilled this down into a clear 6-step strategic blueprint. It really integrates that Marine Corps level of precision with a luxury concierge level of care.
Okay, step one.
Step 1, strategic bioprofiling. Before we do anything else, photos, pricing, anything, we meticulously identify your ideal buyer. And this isn't just guesswork. It's a data-driven exercise.
Okay.
Are we targeting, say, relocating tech executives from Silicon Valley who value smart home features and top-tier security? Or maybe international buyers from, Dubai or London looking for exclusive investment opportunities?
Or maybe it's different.
Could be prestige-driven buyers who are all about architectural design and total privacy. Or even investors focused purely on strong rental yield and future appreciation. This specific, detailed profile, it guides every single decision that follows. The style of the photos, the marketing channels we use, even the specific language in the descriptions.
So you know exactly who you're talking to.
Exactly. Laser focus, it ensures every effort hits the mark. Then, step 2, premium pricing strategy. Luxury homes, they absolutely do not follow the same pricing logic as your standard properties.
Right, not just sly repeat.
Not at all. We don't just glance at recent sales down the street. Our analysis is way more nuanced. Sure, we look at active luxury competition, but we also dig deep into the unique lifestyle of upgrades your specific home offers. That bespoke chef's kitchen, the killer smart home system. We carefully assess potential appraisal gaps versus those really significant emotional value drivers. And we need to intimately understand the specific buyer psychology operating at your price tier.
What are they thinking? What motivates them?
Precisely. So the goal isn't just landing on a number, it's about building a compelling pricing narrative. One that unequivocally shows why your property is worth that premium. We strategically create a sense of exclusivity, maybe even scarcity around it. Make buyers feel they're acquiring something truly special, not just another house.
That sounds like a world away from just looking at comps and picking a list price. You're really building a kind of psychological fortress around the value.
That's a good way to put it.
And then we move into the actual visual storytelling, the presentation piece you touched on earlier.
Exactly. Which leads us right into step 3, cinematic presentation. We talked about it, but it bears repeating. Your home deserves to be treated like a feature film, not just a quick snapshot.
Okay.
This means producing those high-end video walkthroughs, often with a professional voiceover or maybe carefully selected, evocative music. Something designed to tell a story, create emotion. We incorporate those breathtaking drone aerials, absolutely critical for properties with waterfront, big acreage, or maybe unique architectural roof lines. It gives context and grandeur that you just can't get from ground level.
Yeah, totally changes the perspective.
Absolutely. Virtual twilight photography. That creates that magical, warm evening glow that really triggers emotion. highlights the home's serene beauty. And underpinning it all is lifestyle storytelling, showing the home in use, not just empty rooms. Imagine a beautifully staged cup of coffee on the terrace overlooking the sunrise view, or a perfectly set table in the dining room, ready for an elegant dinner party. Each of these assets, every shot, is meticulously designed to trigger that emotional response and compel immediate action from the right buyer.
Okay, so we've got the ideal buyer nailed down. The pricing strategy is ironclad. We've got cinematic visuals pulling at the heartstrings. Amazing. But how do you actually get these incredible assets in front of those specific buyers? It can't just be listing it on the local MLS, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Relying only on the MLS or just hoping someone comes across it. That's just another form of that hopeful surrender we talked about, especially in the luxury space.
So what's the alternative?
That brings us to step 4, multi-channel luxury marketing. This is proactive. We launch highly targeted campaigns, but on exclusive, curated luxury platforms. Think places like The Real Deal, Mansion Global, Jane's Edition. Sites where affluent buyers actually congregate.
Where they're already looking.
Exactly. We also deploy sophisticated digital ad campaigns that are geofenced, meaning they're precisely targeted only to specific affluent zip codes. We can target key feeder markets across the U.S. or even internationally, depending on that buyer profile we built. We leverage engaging Instagram and YouTube Reels, short, punchy videos with strategic hooks designed to grab attention fast in today's media landscape. And crucially, there's also direct, proactive outreach. I leverage my extensive luxury buyer network, my personal list of high net worth individuals, family offices, and influential brokers who specialize in these exact types of properties.
So it's not just casting a wide net.
No, it's a multi-pronged active approach.
Yeah.
It creates genuine presence, not just passive visibility. We make sure your property is seen by the right eyes in the places where they already spend their time and attention. Then there's step 5, private access strategy. This comes into play when it's appropriate for the listing,
Okay.
because sometimes the best strategy is actually quiet confidence, understated exclusivity. For certain listings, maybe those of exceptional value, or ones requiring ultra discretion for the seller, we can implement things like NDA-required previews.
So only pre-vetted, serious buyers get access.
Precisely. We might organize private showings only, no open houses, maintaining that air of exclusivity. We can also pursue targeted off-market exposure, quietly presenting the property to a select network of investment groups, relocation executives handling high-level moves, and top-tier buyer agents before it ever hits the broader public market.
What's the benefit there?
Well, this strategy not only increases that sense of exclusivity and perceived value, but crucially, it prevents your property from potentially becoming stale on the open market if it's the type that might require a slightly longer, more nuanced sales cycle.
That's a really powerful way to generate buzz and keep desirability high without maybe overexposing a truly unique asset.
Okay.
And finally, getting across the finish line, which, let's face it, can often be the most fraught part of any real estate deal.
It certainly can be. And that's where step 6, smart negotiation and closing, comes in.
Hmm.
Look, I don't play ping pong with offers. We aim to shape them from the beginning.
How do you do that?
It starts with meticulously pre-qualifying interest before any serious showings. We need to ensure we're only dedicating valuable time to genuinely capable and motivated buyers, no tire kickers.
Makes sense.
Then, when an offer comes in, we strategically structure favorable timelines and terms specifically for you, the seller. Our goal is to minimize potential headaches for you and maximize your negotiating position. We also work proactively to minimize friction throughout the closing process. That means preparing all your necessary documents, disclosures, and legal protections way up front. We anticipate potential challenges before they even arise.
Smoothing the path.
Exactly. The ultimate goal is to close the deal with true concierge-style service, managing every single detail from that initial offer right through to the seamless key handoff. We want to make your sale not just successful financially, but also smooth, strategic, and ultimately feel like it was worth every single penny you invested in doing it right. This really embodies that blend we talked about. Marine Corps level discipline meeting that white glove luxury concierge care.
That whole process sounds incredibly thorough. To really bring this home for everyone listening, let's maybe explore a real-world example, something that perfectly illustrates the power of this intentional approach versus just good enough.
Okay, yeah, I have a story that perfectly highlights what happens when good enough completely misses the mark. I once took over a listing, a $2.9 million home. It had been sitting on the market for 121 days with another agent, just sitting there.
Wow, 4 months.
4 months. And they were marketing it very generically as just a family home. Now, it had great features, beautiful pool, nice location,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't getting any real bites. The previous marketing was just bland, generic photos, a standard brochure, nothing that gave it any real character or story.
So it sounds like the problem wasn't necessarily the house itself, but maybe the narrative being told about it, or maybe the lack of a real narrative.
Precisely. That's exactly it. The truth was, this place wasn't just some generic family home. Not at all. It was, for lack of a better term, a baller's compound.
Okay. Tell
Well,
me more.
it had a 6-car garage, right? A spectacular rooftop deck with a full outdoor kitchen overlooking the city. And get this, a dedicated movie theater, complete with LED backlit movie posters of Scarface and The Godfather.
Wow. Okay, definitely not your average family home vibe.
Not even close. So the previous marketing, it might have been technically good enough for a standard suburban listing, maybe, but it was utterly, completely wrong for this unique property. It just didn't capture the true essence, the specific lifestyle it offered. It wasn't speaking to the right person at all.
So what was the immediate shift? What did you do differently that brought about such a dramatic change?
We completely flipped the script. Immediately, we got brand new dynamic photos that showcase those unique features. We created a cinematic video, but with carefully selected high-energy music that really spoke to the property's unique, bold character, made it feel exciting. Then, crucially, we launched a highly targeted marketing campaign, specifically aimed not at families, but at high-income single men, probably in their 30s and 40s.
The ideal buyer profile for a baller's compound.
Exactly. We figured out who would actually appreciate and value those specific unique amenities, the garage, the rooftop, the theater, and then we figured out how to speak directly to them in their language on the platforms they use.
And the outcome after that radical reposition it.
Sold in 18 days.
Wow. From 121 days to 18.
18 days and full asking price.
Incredible.
The moral of the story there is just so profound for luxury sellers.
Yeah.
The right house, marketed to the wrong buyer, is still effectively a dead deal. And that good enough generic marketing, it will consistently attract either the completely wrong buyer or, much more often, simply no buyer at all. This example just perfectly illustrates the immense financial cost, the lost time, the lower price of not matching your marketing strategy to the true nature and the ideal buyer of your luxury asset.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for you, the listener, with your luxury asset? I think it's crystal clear. Stop settling for good enough when it comes to marketing your luxury property. Seriously. It's not about being petty or overly demanding. It's about being profoundly profitable. It's about respecting the value of your asset. Your luxury home isn't just another piece of real estate. It's a unique, high-value product. It demands a presentation and a strategy that commands attention and secures premium offers, not just, an iPhone photo and that hopeful surrender we talked about.
Absolutely. And look, if your luxury home looks incredible on the surface, but it just isn't moving, don't panic. But definitely don't just wait and hope either. Often we find we don't need to completely start over from scratch, but we absolutely do need to strategically reposition, refresh the presentation, and re-strategize the marketing approach with real precision. So if you're ready for maybe some hard truths, but also a real actionable plan, it might be time to consider getting a confidential review of your listing's current positioning and strategy. See where the gaps are.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Ultimately, I think in the luxury market, you're not just selling square footage or bedroom counts, are you? You're selling a vision. You're selling an aspirational future. So the question becomes, how clearly, how compellingly, and to whom are you painting that vision for the right buyer? Something to think about. Until next time, sell smart. Live free, and please remember, a truly great-looking home absolutely deserves a great outcome.